Hello, everybody, and happy Thursday. Darn it. Can we start that again? All right. Hello, everybody, and happy Thursday. Oh, boy, it has been a week, hasn't it? Oh, welcome to the OSINT Curious webcast. Oh, crap. I messed up again. You know what? We're starting all over again. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Thursday. And welcome to the OSINT Curious live stream. Wow. It's going to be one of those nights in as sector. Oh, I'm Micah Hoffman. I am the president of OSINT Curious, and I am thrilled to be here live with you tonight on Twitch, Twitter, Periscope, and YouTube. I am joined by two of my wonderful colleagues, soon to be three colleagues, as soon as the other one arrives. Inez, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good night. It's probably Thursday for everybody, but still there's some people that it could be, I think, Friday. Yeah, maybe already. So
do we need to start the intro?
So like Friday. So I give it back to Sector.
Hi, happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome to the OSINT Bunch here on SoundCloud.
The OSINT Bunch on SoundCloud? Are you moonlighting with another OSINT project here? Come on, man. It hurts.
I'm just messing things up even more for you.
Yeah. Oh, man. It's going to be one of those nights. I can feel it. All right. So, you know who we are. We're the open source intelligence project, OSINT Curious, and our goal is to. Oh, Sector just jumped. All right. I guess
maybe he thought it was Sunday and he was like, I have something to do right now.
Yeah, time is one of those irrelevant things. All right. So for those of you that are joining our stream for the first time, honestly, we do this more frequently and we know what we're doing. Our goal is to help spread open source intelligence techniques and tools, and to make sure that people are learning and getting those tips and techniques that are out there. And so what we do is we do this live stream on 3 platforms, Twitch, Twitter, Periscope, and YouTube. And we like engaging you, our wonderful listeners. Oh, Cherry, you're back. And Tig Diaz. Yes, Tig Diaz helped us out a lot. And as yesterday we had a Portugal GeoGuessr, and Tig Diaz and Diego were like, hey, it's Portuguese, not Spanish. Yeah, that was nice.
Well done.
Ginsburg, welcome to the live stream. I've messed up like 7 times already. So
nice. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, welcome. Cool. So if you are out there on Twitch, on YouTube, or on Twitter, Periscope, type us a chat and let us know how you're doing. Let us know you're out there so that we can talk with y'all. We have a bunch of people here that are some of our regulars now. This is great. We've been doing this live streaming all week, and we'll finish up tomorrow. It'll be our last day. But today we're going to be working on some other things. We're going to be doing our GeoGuessr live stream. And then we are going to move into a discussion on one of everybody's favorite open source intelligence topics, tools. But it's tools to document. See what I did there? Yeah, we're going to talk about how do you take notes? And we want to know how you do that too, right after we play GeoGuessr. For those of you that are this is your first time on the stream, down below is our website, our handle on most sites, a link to the Searchlight Discord where you can find us, as some of you have found us there, and a link to our Patreon patron page. Please consider supporting our project. We are a nonprofit here in the United States. Hey, Jasmine, you were on yesterday too. I remembered. All right, cool. Let's get into GeoGuessr. And this is like, let's do this GeoGuessr thing. All right. Couple ground rules. One, if you've already been to geoguessr.com, the URL is on the screen or will be coming on the screen. And you've already done the daily challenge for today, please wait until we solve each of the different challenges to then help us out and let us know how you did it. Please don't go spoiling it for us by throwing things in the comments that like, oh, it's this country, I've already done it. No, that's going to frustrate us. Also, For this GeoGuessr, please do not Google, Bing, DuckDuckGo, Yandex, Baidu, or search for anything. We only want to use our brains and what we observe. All right? Cool. Welcome, OSINT enthusiast. I said it right that time. All right. Cool. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. So we've got our daily challenge now. Ginsburg sector and Inez, I'm not trying to spook you or anything, but we've been doing pretty darn well here. Look at that, 21,000.
I was going to ask that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the pressure's on.
Yeah, and I'm very proud of the fact that all week we have been getting actually the last couple of days we've been getting our guesses to be in the right country. So that's where I'm headed for. Right country is good. Right exact location even better. All right, let's get on with this. All right, today's daily challenge. We're going to do the challenge. We have 3 minutes per round and 5 rounds. So if you are somebody that's going to be helping us out by letting us know where you think it is, tell us why you think it's in different places so that we can take your tips. Here we go. Round number 1. We're on a road. It looks like we are in a rocky place.
In the middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere, but I see no yellow line here, which is an important factor. We see mountains. Let's go down the hill. Usually down the hill, there's water or something at the bottom. Water means settlements. Settlements means
houses.
Yeah,
people's
and signs.
It does look like it might be U.S. There was some a couple ways back, wherever there was like a utility box or something.
Oh, yep. Yeah, on the left side.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not thinking
markers.
U.S. The U.S. would have yellow lines. Right?
Maybe, yeah, unless it was a rural area.
Wait, there's a sign right here.
Oh, yeah.
Something Motel.
Good.
Black's Motel.
Accommodation open.
7 days.
I would say like
meals.
maybe Scotland.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely not. I don't think this is.
Are we driving on the left?
You know what? I'm not sure. Yeah, we are.
Yeah, I think we are.
Oh, yes, of course.
You see?
Yeah.
Well done.
Okay, over.
Well done.
Over?
Well done, sector.
All right, and here's a Lions Club. So, Lions Club, opt for driving on the left-hand side of the road. I'm thinking the UK.
Scotland, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks Scottish, like with the mountains and the rocks in the middle of the road.
Okay, and we're 65 kilometers. So again,
miles.
No, that can't be 65 miles an hour on this turn.
No?
Can it be? No, I don't think so. I think it would probably Scotland. All right, Shuri. Yeah, the pressure. Oh, there's a sign over here. Hang on, let's see what we got over here.
Signage isn't Scottish. It can. Yeah, right. I can be wrong.
No, signage isn't Scottish.
Could it be like New Zealand? Am I thinking wrong? Because it kind of looks also like.
Yeah.
And they also drive on the left because it has this more deserty kind of look.
And that will explain the big ute that we have there.
Here.
On tap.
On draft beer for sale. I don't know.
And it looks a little bit like, it looks.
Elaine shop. We have 44
there's a phone
seconds.
number. Wait, there's a phone number above that.
Yeah.
If you scroll, yeah.
Red and white markers. What do we got?
And the Jeep.
And look at these mountains. All right. So where are we going? UK or
New Zealand?
Down under? Anybody?
I'm thinking the UK.
Yeah, I think so too, but I don't know.
Oh no!
Oh my gosh!
Oh my gosh!
New Zealand.
I said
New Zealand. You said that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, there goes the score.
All right, so that's the end of our webcast. Our live stream is done. We are wow. Damn it. You know what? That's the first time I've ever had like a live stream. That's the first time I've ever had New Zealand. So let's go and learn it. Okay, so this is the GeoTips website. For those of you that don't know about it, the GeoTips website helps us get smarter about those countries that we've actually been to. Here, this is our first time going to the New Zealand continent or country. You can see that we are left-hand driving, which sector noticed. Here we have the flag, which we didn't see a flag. We saw the phone numbers. They're bollard.
Yeah, we did see that.
Yeah,
looks familiar.
All right. Here we have road lines. Up, see, we got the double yellow. Yeah, so we have all three types here. We got the double yellow lines, yellow line with the white, and then the dashed white, which is what we just saw.
Just to make it confusing for us.
Yeah, exactly. Just for everything. Here we got the signs. Okay.
Yeah.
The red shield. All right. So New Zealand uses diagonal warning signs, and they appear on white wooden poles. Okay. Electricity poles. I don't think I'm Uber enough to do the electricity poles. All right. Time massage. Oh, I guess this is an example of a phone number. I'm like, why is this time massage in here? All right. Here's different things, different places, the general look, and the alphabet. Oh, we have Maori. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, that's one down. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, it can only get better, right?
That's true.
Stay the same. Here we go. Round number 2. All right, we're in a building. We're at a building, I would say, over in Asia.
Yeah, Korean. Looks like Korean writing.
Okay, we're driving on the right-hand side, which means we cannot be in Japan or Singapore.
Yeah, right. Thailand and all that. That was all lefts, right? We found that out last time.
Right, exactly. So we are in a big city, which is good. I'm going to go down here. I think I see some signs up there above. Let's head down this way. Anybody recognize? Oh, well, those aren't signs. Those are, well, they are.
Yeah,
I think
Korean.
sector may be right. Yeah, I think it's Korea as well.
South Korean flag, Churi says.
Yep.
Yeah.
Green says that too. Okay, so now where in Korea? Wow, look at all the signs on the buildings. All right, so let's go down this way. This is a park. Let's see what that says. Darn it. We were so close. We're going to head down that way. There's a sign over here.
It doesn't have that. Well, if it is Seoul, it should be outside the city because it's not. There's not that many tall buildings.
Number 51.
Yeah, and on the right part, there was also normal writing. City something.
All right. Let's just see if we can go to Korea and pull up like Route 51. So you think this is Seoul, outside of Seoul? Or do we not know?
No.
I don't see numbers.
No clue.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, I'm just going to throw that down there, and then let's see if we can figure this out. All right. We have a minute left. Anything on the back of this?
Maybe in the front of the bus. Like,
yeah, maybe it's like Seoul Tours or something like that.
Oh, no, we can't catch the
Yeah. Damn it.
Oh, that's great.
We cannot catch a break
what is
today.
that? That's interesting. Okay.
Was that University Dental Hospital? Wonk Wang. Where's Wonk Wang?
That
well done,
sounds really weird.
Wonk Wang. Oh, come on. I'm probably pronouncing it improperly, but we have 36 seconds. Wonk Wang. It would be anybody?
We don't see any water. We see it's pretty landlocked. I would say the middle of the country, maybe towards the bigger cities, but I
would go towards Icheon and Seoul because
all right, let's
look like a really big city.
All right, so we got the right country. Well done, people. You picked it up. I know. We'll take it, right? I mean, that's what we're gonna do. All right, so let's. I'm so disappointed that New Zealand.
I know. I swear, I looked. It was like 30 seconds, and then all of a sudden, it was like, "Oh, you lost," and I was like,
"Yeah." That I take responsibility for that. Damn it. All right, so this is Vietnam. Let's go to Korea, South Korea. Hey, look, North Korea has no Google Maps.
They must not drive.
All right, here we got the flag. Here we have Seoul. The Google car can be seen. Again, that's not necessarily something great. Here, green signs, white text. I'm interested in the language and how we can tell this is Korean. How do you all recognize the Korean characters versus something else?
The Korean use a lot of straight lines with circles.
Okay.
In the characters. That's you see it here on the left. A lot of like the circles and straight lines. A lot of straight lines.
A lot of straight lines. Okay.
Yeah.
I know that we saw a lot of, in Thailand and Singapore on Tuesday, we saw a lot of curved lines and a lot of umlauts above them and a lot of that type of stuff. But yeah.
Okay. So here we've got all of these. All right. All right. So it's an alphabet. And Dan says, oh, hey, Dan Nemec. It is an alphabet that's arranged in a grid different than Japanese and Chinese. Okay.
That's awesome.
That is good. And that's why we're here, to learn. Thanks, everybody. All right. Hey, 128 kilometers is a great comeback. I'm enthusiastic now. We're going to crush this. Unless it's in the middle of the
I
desert.
think that Ryan can help us now because he has been learning all the trees from the world.
What is this? Okay, so we're driving on the right-hand side of the road. See that car's on the left. I'm headed over here. This looks like somewhere up north with water and barrenness. But
or like a lot of south, like Argentinian desert.
Or South Africa, but it's maybe too flat for that.
Let's see if we can get to this car. Does
the water? I think the water's on both sides.
Yep, I agree.
Well, looks like it.
Argentina would have yellow lines, Dia says.
Yeah, it's possible.
I'm trying to get to this civilization down here. Hang on. I'm just going to take some big jumps. Warp speed.
We're in the middle of nowhere.
But
no, we're not. There's something right here. Hang on.
Some cattle.
Okay, 50 kilometers sign. That looks European.
Oh, there's a roundabout. What is that?
All right, here we go. And Oftanes.
Oh,
that's Nordic.
Yep.
Nordic.
Which one?
Sweden, Finland?
No. That's Icelandic. You can see it because
of
cool.
Iceland.
The D. Yeah, I know my Nordic languages.
Okay.
Well done, Sector.
All right, so here we have Bas.
The third letter on the SU, and then it's like a D with a curved line. So that's Iceland.
Okay, but where in Iceland are we?
Very good point. It's probably on the southwest or on the southeast. On the southwest, you got a lot of industry. On the southeast, you got some larger cities.
Okay. We have 1 minute left. Here's a sign, and I think that sign's going to... All right, so there it says that word.
It does say that word.
I'm not going to try.
I'm not even going to pronounce it. One of the hardest languages to learn. So
right.
Yeah, all right. I'm lucky I know Reykjavik.
This is something that looks like it.
Yeah.
But it's not it.
It's not it.
I would go. No, I would go more south because the north is very close to the pole. So.
All right, so like in like this area, or where do you want?
Yeah, for instance,
we had water on both sides. So
no, it's true. So maybe it's outside Reykjavik over there, where it has like kind of those inlets and stuff. Or I see what you're saying.
We have 28 seconds. Help me out here.
Well, if we just put it in the middle of the country, it's so small. We're good.
Yeah.
All right. Sector says, close to the capital.
I don't know. Just click
15
something.
seconds.
All right.
Click something. I don't know where the city is.
Oh, so close. That's pretty good. 39 kilometers.
Nice.
Wow.
That's cool.
You know what?
I've
learned to listen to our listeners. And so Tira just said south, close to the capital. And so I put it over there, closer to Reykjavik.
That's right. Yep.
Is Reykjavik the capital?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Crushed it. All right. Well,
we're getting better. We're getting
better.
Look at that.
39 kilometers. That's better. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Ryan's like, finally, my years of listening to Bjork pays off. Yeah. Well done.
Awesome.
All right. Let's go learn about Iceland. You know what? This is like the weirdest one because I've never had Korea. I've never had Iceland. I've never had New Zealand.
Wrong. Don't lie. You've had Iceland together with Nico about that was last month.
Really?
Yes, you started off on with black, like volcanic ash ground.
Okay,
that's something you see a lot there.
So I have short-term memory loss. I forget things, and I have short-term memory loss, and I just don't know when we're. All right.
And you thought it was Tuesday.
And the
signs are all there.
And I thought we were on a webcast. All right, so here, yes, seeing the word Reykjavik would have really helped us out, and Sector recognized that character there. Okay, and Tigdias, remember us doing this. All right, so we have kilometers per hour. And we're driving on the right, right? All right, so that's a map of it. All right. Here's what the license plate looks like, kind of wide and fat.
That's how small the country is. They don't need so many letters and numbers.
Yeah. And here's the alphabet. Now, where is that? Oh, is this the letter that you were talking about?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So it's the one after, I'm going to mess it up. It's like the one after D, but before E.
It's
very
E
neat.
something.
Okay.
Yep.
And all right. Okay, cool. So New Zealand drives on the left-hand side, commonly misinterpreted as an English location, whereas we have Iceland here, drives on the right-hand side. Very recognizable from the type of letters on this.
What is that P down at the very bottom there? Is that
This one, or?
Yeah, right there.
I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but I don't think it sounds the way you think it sounds.
No. Just looking. I'm just noticing.
All right. Round number 4. Help us out, everybody. I think we're recovering. This is better. All right, we got palm trees. This feels
Phnom Penh. Angkor Wat. That's Angkor Wat.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
that's
wow.
Angkor Wat.
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
I was there, so
Yes.
that was fast for me.
Yeah.
So tell me where that is.
So you could go to Cambodia,
Okay.
and then you have to search for Angkor Wat, which is
I can't search.
so that's Phnom Penh. That's the capital, and I think Angkor Wat should be. Let me remember somewhere else.
East west. It's Cambodia. Yep, Yasmin.
Yeah.
But where?
What's the city? What's the city's name?
What city were Angkor Wat is?
No,
Google people.
All right, come on, our audience.
But if I see the city, I'll recognize the name, but I just don't remember it by heart now. So I was driving from Phnom Penh, I think, for about 3-4 hours to get there. So there should be a road that connects Phnom Penh up north, I would say.
Anybody else know where this is?
Yeah, I can't read it. That's my only problem. I can't read what's written.
Hang on. So let's go. We're in Cambodia. We've got a minute set. Northwest of here. Northwest. So we're over here. Let's see.
Where is it called?
It's in the jungle near the border.
It's Siem Reap. Siem Reap. It's like Siem Reap. It's Siem Reap. That's the name of the place where Angkor Wat is.
Okay, but I don't see. Here's Kulin Prem.
Siem Reap.
Oh, this.
Oh no.
Where?
No, I thought I saw it, but no.
Siem. All right.
Yeah, I think it's in the north. It's not close to the water. It's in the
north of Big Lake.
Yeah, north of Big Lake. Siem Reap.
Go down. Okay, go down a bit more from where you just had your pointer. Is it not sway? Yeah, a bit more to the right there. Maybe
this right?
Yeah. Oh, back to the left. Is it not that city there? A little bit more to the left. Is it not there?
I don't know. That's
15
where we're going.
seconds.
That's where we're going.
Oh,
right,
wow.
All right. Y'all were pretty good.
There's Siem Reap.
Siem Reap.
It's amazing. There's the Siem. Yeah, there we go. So you recognize it right off the bat, and it took us 3 minutes to figure out where in the world. And there it is right there. If I had zoomed in even more. Wow. Okay, so
awesome.
That's where we were going. Thank you, everybody, for your help. Yeah, okay. Let's take a look. That was actually a very good one. So how did you recognize that, Inez?
So it's like one of the wonders of the world, you know? So because once you've been somewhere, it's quite fast that you recognize. So that bridge, it's overwhelming because you have water on both sides, and then you get into these endless monuments that, you know, from Tom Rider, there's this scene where she's like in the middle of these old monuments that have been like swallowed by the trees. I don't know if you've seen this. So that's filmed there. That's in Angkor Wat.
Oh,
so it's a really cool.
Jasmine says that it's Tomb Raider. Yeah, okay, I get it.
Tomb Raider.
Yeah, okay,
Tomb Raider. Sorry.
All right. And also it kind of is on their flag too, so that's an important thing for us to know about. All right. So here we have the country of Cambodia. We really didn't see any of this stuff because we were just at that one location there, which was fine. We had another one where we were inside of Versailles over in France, like in photospheres or a Google Street View, walking through Versailles. And somebody's like, it's Versailles, it's this gallery. And we got like 4 meters away. It was amazing.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, but it was one of those memories. So experience. Yeah. All right. So here we have the license plate. All right. Vegetation, landscape. All right. So we have palm trees. We have other things.
Houses in Cambodia, they're built over, so you can see, so there's, because of the water, because of the floods, so they're built on these, I don't know how you say it in English. Stilts. And the under part is to work, and the over part is to sleep, live family life.
It's like a treehouse.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the alphabet. Now, this looks significantly more challenging to learn.
And there are more scripts that look close or similar to us in that area too, like in Nepal and those surrounding countries. And I keep getting them mixed up.
All right. So what I see here is some I see a lot of continuous lines, let's say that. With not a lot of straight lines. So, when we were looking at Bengali and things, they had a lot of straight lines. We were just talking about one of the previous languages where it had a lot of round circles, if for Korean. So here I'm seeing a lot of continuous lines. All right, cool. All right, so I think this is our last one. Let's do this. Let's get lower than 47 kilometers. We got this. Or not. Hang on. Let's see what that says right there. Municipal power plant, water, light, and power at
That's
cost.
US. That's US.
It has to be.
Yeah, that feels US.
That's US.
Looking at
so we're driving on the right-hand side of the road.
Trailer.
This is Norton Street.
785 is Lawrence, Kansas.
Get out of town. And there's Mission Lake.
Yep. 785 is Lawrence, Kansas. I actually may be very close to this place.
So where's Lawrence? Help us out.
Okay, so keep going straight down.
There it is, right
there. Right there. Yeah, right next to Topeka. Yep.
Okay, so we need the lake, right? Mission Lake or something?
Mission Lake. I couldn't see it actually.
Hang on. Let's go down. Let's see. Wait, what's this say?
Yeah, it's
Fifth Avenue. Project
Kansas. Look at you crushing it. Hang on. This was the place that said Mission Lake. Hang on. I'm going to go up here, turn around. What does that say? 501 East.
This is in Horton, Kansas. So it's outside of Lawrence, just south. Scroll in right next to up north just a little bit. Oh shoot, where's Horton? Horton, here's who. This is Lawrence proper. That's the University of Kansas. Horton is a little bit south. There's Baldwin, Blackjack. It's not that Horton south. Oh shoot!
Did we lose it?
A minute left.
No, we got this. Come on, Horton, Kansas. It can't be that hard. Here we go.
It's a tiny, tiny town.
There it is. Oh, that's Holton. Damn it. Here's Horton. Here's Horton.
Nice.
All right, we're at 15.
Oh, and there's Mission Lake.
Where's that? Right there.
Mission Lake.
And we were on the East 15th.
And we were on, nearby 5th Avenue,
East 15th. What? 501 East 15th, East 15th, East 15th.
Go left.
Here we go.
Right there.
East
15th is the main road. That is 110th right there. So you see 14, 16. So damn near anywhere there is that.
Yes! Woo! That was awesome.
That's amazing.
Yes. Wow.
That was 183 meters. Wow, that was
Yeah.
close.
That was that, and we did it. We beat our 47 kilometers. Holy cow. Well done. If I hadn't been so trigger happy, we probably could have gotten even closer, but whew, my heart beat real fast.
Hometown shout outs, you know? No,
yeah. Well, you know, so hey, you know, you knew, so Inez knew about Angkor Wat. You knew about that. That was Kansas. And we looked around. We definitely confirmed it was in there, and we looked on a sign. Let's learn about the United States. Or not. Let's skip that. All right, here we go. Wow, that was great. That was really exciting. Yeah, exactly, Dan. We made up for some lost points. Wow, yeah, the first one just took the life out of me there. That was terrible. But hey, whatever.
Still 19,000.
Yep.
That's a pretty good score still.
That's pretty,
Considering we got 0 for the first one, yeah, that was pretty good. All right, so here's our daily challenge for this week. Tomorrow, we're going to have to knock it out of the park here. 21, 20, 19, 19. All right. Wow. That was exciting.
This is always fun. I really enjoy these. Even watching them going back when you guys do this live stream and I'm not able to be on. It's always nice to see the stuff and to see how the brain works in regards to this stuff.
Yep. And the longer we do this, the more experience we have and the more people on here like that were participating and are like, oh, that's this language or, oh, that's this location. That helps us out too. So
that's right, Jasmine. We rock, all of us.
It's a team effort. Absolutely. For those of you just joining us, welcome to the live stream. I'm Michael Hoffman, and joined by a cadre of wonderful open source intelligence professionals like Inesh Narciso, Sector 035, and Michael James Ginsberg, 5150. Look at you with the Michael James. Is that new? That is.
Yep, it is. Yeah, I saw everybody doing it Thursday, or whatever, and I was like, I don't want to be not the cool kid, you know. So.
Yeah, you know, Churi. Other people have said the same thing. Churi says that the country streak is one of those things that's kind of fun. And since we're getting better at isolating the countries, you know what? Tomorrow we're gonna do our final show this week on Friday, and we'll do GeoGuessr Daily Challenge as we always do. It's tradition. And then after that, we're gonna do the country streak until we fail. So it could be a really long live stream tomorrow. Join us. All right. Awesome. For those of you that are just joining us, like I said, we are OSINT Curious. Down below, scrolling across the bottom of the screen, is our website handle, Searchlight Discord, Patreon, patron site for if you want to support us. And now I think we'll turn our attention to some topics at hand. Now, Inesh, when you and I were talking before when you, Sector, and I were talking before Ginsberg joined us before the show, we talked about what kind of topics might be of interest in, and you mentioned something about documentation. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you were describing?
Well, sometimes people ask me, like, they don't have that many OSINT tools, and they're just interested in, once I start an investigation, how do I, wait a moment, I'm feedbacking loop again, am I not? I am, right? You're not hearing me again? Okay, cool. Usually the advice that I give to people is, once you receive like something like a clue or you start an investigation, one of the first things that I think is really useful is to separate what I call contextual selectors or leads from identifiable leads. And
what's the difference?
So contextual selectors or leads are leads that are really useful to verify things and to use in support, but alone are not enough to identify something. So if it's about a person, I would say, for example, that these contextual leads would be that the person is a fan of hockey and that they are American and that they love jazz, for example. Okay. Or that they work at a certain big company. And then identifiable leads will be like their name, their phone, the license plate of their cars, their IP address, something that's very unique. It may not have like a result of one person, but it's usually like a very small group. And if you think about OSINT, most tools will pivot on identifiable selectors. So on these specific selectors, like a username, an email, a license plate, an IP address, a domain. And contextual selectors are more useful to use like in a search engine or after you've collected some data to be sure that you're onto the right situation. So I usually tell people that once they are documenting and organizing their research, they should always like split both and to be sure that they do a proper research on all the identifiable selectors. That would be one of my first starting points. The second one is it's very tempting and to go down a rabbit hole and get disorganized. And I usually, when I teach, I always tell people that if you started with a selector, like an IP address, you're doing some research on an IP address that sent you like a really aggressive threat email. Then if you're starting with that, just because you found like an email associated, another email associated to that IP address or a domain, you shouldn't go after that. First, you run all the tools that you have for the IP address, everything. You go down the hole, even if you find something interesting. If you find something interesting, you write it down in your list, or you use Hunchly, or you can use Mind Map, but you should point somewhere that new identifiable selector that you found and connect it to that IP. So I just found like this name or this domain, but don't go after it immediately. First,
so let me ask you this. I'm wondering if you are able to do that because maybe the length of the duration of your assessments might be longer. If you're working law enforcement or you're doing a genealogy report on somebody, you might have days or weeks or months, whereas somebody looking to find a criminal, a missing person or whatever has 4 hours to do it. And that turn might be something that's important. Ginsberg, Sector, have you ever what technique do you use? Do you follow the let's investigate everything about this identifier as I do and Ash says she does, or do you kind of break off once you find something interesting and pursue that, then come back to that main thread?
Sector?
Me personally, I do value certain pieces of information much higher than others. So if I have a name together with a city, I treat that as more valuable than, let's say just a nickname with an email address attached to it. So johnny@gmail.com, unless I'm absolutely 100% sure that it's from that person. So it totally depends on what I find. An IP address is, that's a really difficult thing to talk about because an IP address could be a mobile connection, could be a VPN, it could be an open proxy. It can be so many things, and it's so dangerous if you don't know exactly what kind of IP address it is to use that as identifiable information. Unless you know it's from, for instance, just a DSL line from somebody's home, and that is connected to the area where your suspect is, or your target, or whatever you call it, is living in, and then you might treat that as valuable information and identifiable information. So it totally depends on what kind of information it is.
All right.
Certain things are more valuable for me, but I always come back to those things that I value the most and try to find different ways to create new leads or find new leads that tie back to my to the person that I'm investigating.
Okay, cool. Ginsberg, you do a lot of business open source intelligence in preparation for doing like cybersecurity risk assessments. What do? Do you follow the hottest leads and then come back and then make sure you do everything, or do you just focus on that one thing and go trace it down till the end?
So it's tough because, like you kind of said earlier, it really is the amount of time that you're allotted for X, investigation or assessment. Typically, if we're doing something that's external for risk assessment, we'll go through and we'll do everything, pattern it all the way down, and then move to the next step and go forth. If we're doing high value target assessment, C-level, executive board, things like that, however, then we will try to go through and actually pivot a little bit further into the juicy stuff, whatever, as we get it, because there is a timetable on that stuff. So there is always, a scratch pad or a document that documents everything else that we find. And that way, if for some reason after the initial assessment and there's still time or there's still questions about something, we can go back and we can review what other pivot points we may have either not had time to go through and further investigate, or weren't as contextual as the original ask or scope. So it does matter, because there are two things that you can never run out of in an OSINT investigation, right? That's things to look at and time. So you have to cut yourself off with some of those things, because otherwise it just becomes a spider mess, So it's a little bit of both,
Okay. I am heavily distracted. So when I'm researching one thing and I find that new shiny, I'm like, new shiny, and then I'm off to another thing, and that's where you're laughing, but that's exactly how I do my work. It's like, oh, wow. I've got the phone number. Ooh, now I have this email, and it helps me connect that data and show the connectedness of that data. But I think the most important point, and I'm going to let go back to what you were kind of talking about there, is making sure that you prosecute all of those leads and make sure that you come back to the original thing. Why are you laughing, Inez? You're like, you're laughing.
No, I'm saying this because it's like in Portuguese we have a saying that in the house of the blacksmith, the spoon is from wood. So it means like people we teach this method and we believe in it, but actually
in practice we don't use it.
We also
that's a good saying, though. I like that. You have these sturdy tools that you preach about, but then when you go home and you do your own stuff, you're like, yeah, this will work. No, it was that way with a lot of the missing person CTFs and things like that. I mean, again, timed events and things like that, but you had to go through and pivot so on such a fly to discover, that it was the correct person that you were after, that it was the correct social media sites, or that it was actually relationship, family based and stuff like that. It was very difficult to go through and kind of break the mindset of, okay, I got to take this, run this all the way down. No, for the timed events and things like that, you really do have to go through and pivot that way, just so that you have the ability to go through and contextualize who that person is, put it in regards to the flags that you're trying to accomplish, and then move forward to the next candidate, or target, whatever you would say. So yeah, it's tough because there are different things. Now CTF shouldn't be, the way that we go through and do a lot of life and stuff, but there are use cases for that, because there are critical events that happen that you do want to go through and try to resolve something as soon as humanly possible. It's always best to go through and wait for all the facts to come out, but sometimes you don't have that opportunity, so it's tough.
Yeah, and then go ahead, Sector.
Yeah, I just want to have a question a little bit going further with this. Do you guys use mind mapping, and do you put everything in like a visual graph when you get stuck? Because what I've found is, I do have Maltego. I also have licenses for Maltego. But the only way I use it is to manually mind map things. I don't use the tools they provide because I don't know where it comes from, but I use it to map things out that I found, so I can visualize things and maybe find new pivot points that I've missed in the previous hours or days that I've been diving into things. Do you do that too? And does it help you too?
So for me, I absolutely am a mind map person, but I also have a wood ladle at home where when I do things, like when I was doing the capture the flags here on the live stream earlier in the week, I'm like, oh, we have this. Oh, now we have this. Ginsburg, you were here. And I was like, we could do this. We could do that. And then I was like, wait a second. This is getting confusing. Let's just take it slower and work through the process and do documentation. But it's so hard to stop and document when you're finding all of the things.
Yes,
isn't it?
It's really important to work in a team like that. So usually one of the most useful things is to have first a person to help you document things. and also to play a little bit devil's advocate. So as Sector was saying about the IP, besides having like the technical knowledge, or at least like that you understand that certain evidence or that certain associations don't mean like, I mean, they don't mean that those things are connected, like really connected. May just be a coincidence or another issue. It's also important to have someone that makes like those questions of, but are you sure it's the same person? And you're like, yeah, no, I'm sure, because this is a really weird name, and I'm sure it's the same city. I mean, how could there be two people? But sometimes it's good that you don't go like without questioning your own findings. And because you are so excited, I mean, Micah, you were like, oh my God, my heart was, because when you're doing a research, you're so involved, and it gets you a little bit on that tunnel vision. So I would always advise to do things like at least with someone else that's kind of looking not to your screen, just like trying to map things and just making the right questions, saying, okay, but how did you make this connection? Where did it show up?
So one of the things I've learned over the years, again, my background is from cybersecurity, penetration testing, web hacking into OSINT. One of the things that I've learned is that it is so easy to miss things. Like when we're doing the GeoGuessr games and I'm like, oh, here's a sign. And people are like, you missed a flag. You missed that monument. It's Angkor Wat. I'm like, sign. It's so easy to get kind of that tunnel vision. And I know that about myself because I've done this for decades. And so what I find myself doing is using that backup tool. The backup tool for me is Hunchly, which I know is a sponsor of OSINT Curious, but let's face it, Hunchly, resident in my Google Chrome, catches all the things, even though I might just be focused on pursuing one set of leads. I can always come back to Hunchly and go, hey, tell me about this. Do you have this? Oh, I saw that earlier. And so while I'm mapping my progress manually using a mind mapping tool, I always go back to Hunchly and say, Hunchly, what did you see? What did you see that I didn't see? Because it catches me. I'm unfortunately a lot of times doing OSINT research by myself, or live streaming. So I either have lots of people helping me or I have nobody helping me. And yeah.
I know Hunchly has actually helped several times because when especially for corporate investigations and things like that, you're vetting the security of the sites, and sometimes metadata is still embedded in those images and doesn't get flushed out by the IT staff or the person who took the photo or something else like that. And that's a real quick hit to go through and just make sure that a lot of the metadata isn't there. In fact, we've actually found GPS coordinates from somebody in their house taking a selfie for the website, and then it didn't get scrubbed, and then that came up during an investigation. So it was something that, had we done it manually, it would have taken a long time because there was many different associates. But just the fact that they can go through and scrape that, identify it, and then kick it out to us was tremendous. Hunchly's always been a good tool for us.
Well, one of the things that OSINT, I'm getting better at pronouncing names, OSINT brings up is about screenshotting, and that they use the snipping tool a lot. There's a lot of tools that are out there, whether it's built-in stuff like the Snip and Sketch, or Mac OS stuff. And I guess one of the questions that we should talk about is, when you are working a case, are you downloading the images or just taking screenshots, and why? Inej, Sector, Ginsberg, do you do both? Either?
It depends on the situation. Sometimes it gets to a point where you actually have a video camera behind your own screen, so that, for example, in cases where evidence goes to court, that they cannot say that it was somehow adulterated, like the screenshot was changed. So then you have a camera. But it depends, because, of course, this is one of the things sometimes when people go like, oh, but I had all these security concerns and I was using this and this, but then I went to the target's website and I just downloaded his picture, and I go like, yeah, that's probably not the best idea. So that's one of the situations where even if it was like getting me a better quality picture or something that I could zoom in a little bit more, I wouldn't risk it, because the person that's somehow administrating that website would have known I did those steps. And then it's, even if they don't know it was me, just the fact that someone's taking the work to do that is already a little bit weird. So I guess it would depend.
Okay. Sector Ginsburg, do you screenshot? Do you right click? I mean, you think about the work that we're doing. Let's say that we have a single person's social media profile. How are you downloading like their profile? Are you downloading their profile picture? Are you taking a picture of the whole page for their profile? How do you do that documentation?
Yeah, typically we'll go through and sorry, go ahead, Sector.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Typically, we will go through and we will screenshot a lot of the information, because there's some benign information that is not, relevant to the investigation or the person, or maybe you could expose other people that are, I don't want to say innocents, but they could not be related to this specific subject. And sometimes you only want to go through and illustrate one certain point, like an endorsement or a specific group that they belong to, whatever. So screenshot allows you to go through and do that. The difficult part, and like Inez said, if you can go through and you can download, you get a higher quality of a lot of that stuff. But unfortunately, you leave breadcrumbs, right? So the difficulty is, even in reporting, sometimes you'll take a screenshot and you'll blow it up, and then it gets blurry, and you have to readjust and all that stuff. So there's good and bad with both. But typically, we will go through and we will use a lot of the screenshot methodology, just because we can go through and pick and choose, as opposed to. Now, I will say one thing that I have been doing a lot of is, and this is all from Nico and 537 actually, is single file. So I will go through, and as a Chrome extension and a Firefox extension, it will download the entire web page with the HTML and the actual source code and stuff like that. And we use it for some sites and things like that we want to go through and try to see if we can poke and prod offline, right? So there is a way to go through and do that, and then either take that HTML file and then get the pictures out of there, or even go through and recreate it and screenshot it inside our own offline version of it. But typically, yeah, we will use a screenshotting methodology as opposed to downloading, just because it is a little bit safer on our OPSEC stuff.
Or archive.org. That's
a
really
great one.
useful.
Yeah, we actually have used that several times, which is fantastic. Any third-party service where you can go through and go to it as opposed to the site, do that.
Right.
Yeah. There are several things. I'm also a really big fan of urlscan.io.
Yep, it's fantastic.
It's community driven. It's awesome.
Very nice.
And I do make screenshots. I'm not always capturing everything that I do fully automatically, so I make a lot of screenshots. I always have a tool running in the background for that. I make sure I don't make any annotations in anything. I just screenshot it pure. I can always edit it later and keep the originals, because for me it's more important to show what I've seen on the screen, for instance, with the URL, and that's enough. If I really want to dive into source code, well, I just go to my Linux command prompt on my Mac, and I just wget the whole website. Yes, I'm old school like that, and yes, I do use Vim or VI. Don't you?
Awesome.
At least you're not an Emacs person, because then I'd have to boot you out of here.
That's right.
No.
Here's the interesting thing is that we have 4 people on here, and each person has different use cases for doing open source intelligence, whether it's doing business stuff like Ginsburg was talking about. Sector, you're doing some things for CTFs. You're doing things for other organizations. Inesh, you have background in law enforcement and in genealogy and things. And I'm doing, teaching and research and consulting. And each one of us uses a combination of documentation tools, screenshots, and other things, depending upon our use case. I think that's fascinating.
One thing that I would add, if for those who are watching us, is a lot of people, when they screenshot things, they forget that somehow in the screenshot, their sock puppet is Like you're giving your sock puppet out. Either it's actually the small picture, or it's because it says like underneath like John Stewart and Lily DeVos and 755 other people have liked this picture. So you're giving up 2 of your like friends on Facebook or on Instagram. And I would say that sometimes because we want to do stuff fast, so we grab the screenshot, we put it on Word, and we just crop it really fast. But we forget that actually the picture is still there, so you can't uncrop it. And I've seen quite some like bad upset because of that. So that's something that I would say be extra careful, because in the speed and the stress of a research or investigation, you may forget. But it's a pity, because it may be a good sock puppet and then it's gone.
So I actually thought about spending a couple of days just on one single thing. Go and use all my sock puppets, then go into all the websites where they have an account, and then I use uBlock Origin to dive into the source code and change the sock puppet's name to a very generic name, but only on that specific piece of the website, so no other information on the website is being touched, so nobody else can find out what the original name of the sock puppet is. But
that is a lot.
That's a lot.
Well,
I will go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Ginsberg.
I was going to say, early on in my career and in using tools and stuff like that, one of the things that I was blind to is, I see this, I got to screenshot it. It's the immediacy of like, this is awesome, I found it, whatever I was looking for. And you always want to preserve documentation, and you want to make sure you grab it, because there's no guarantee you go back to it's going to be there, right? Depending on what you're looking at. And I have had to go through and crop images and stuff, because my browser will display my bookmarks, and I want to grab the URL because I want to show the client or the customer or whoever it is, I want to show them where I was from. But I have left other personally identifiable information, like, the logged in account that you may have on Chrome, or, some of the other stuff on there. So I have seen and done my share of dumb things where I'm screenshotting something and I'm trying to get the entire page and get all the information and document it because it's important. But I've had to go through and cut out, after the screenshot, cut out the URL, but as a separate snip. And it was one of those cases where we actually did something and we were looking at it and we went back to it and it was not present anymore. So we had to go through and use that original information. Something else that I will say is, sorry.
Yeah, just one tip. Don't use the bookmark bar in either Chrome or Firefox. Just use the usual bookmarks. And what I do for any kind of investigation, if it's a different topic, I create a new VM with a clean browser. The only thing it has is some of the extensions that I really like.
Yeah, I've given up bookmarks. I'm just going to start my page now, so it's all different. I will say Eyewitness or Aquatone. If you're doing screenshots and you want to do it in mass, were you going to say that?
No, I was going to say, so we're throwing out a whole bunch of tools just so that people know. No, it's totally cool. I mean, that's why we're here, right? So one of the things that Ginsberg just mentioned is the Eyewitness tool, which is a Python tool by Chris Trencher. It's free on GitHub, and it takes a list of URLs and makes a request and takes a picture of whatever it sees, but it doesn't work well at all for JavaScript sites. So those JavaScript heavy social media sites that you're going to be taking pictures of, it's going to suck. So, and that's one of the things that we teach in our classes, right? When you're training other people, you're like, practice with that tool in real world conditions, see how it reacts, because you have to know the downsides of whether it's a screenshot tool or whether it's Hunchly or other things. I do want to just call out one question by Ryan, who asked, for the times when you can't install things like Hunchly, how time prohibitive is it to essentially make your own Hunchly with custom or bespoke tools? I'll take that first off. Hunchly and other tools like it, there are several other tools that are out there like it that tie into your browser and record things into a SQLite database on your system, save all the pictures, scrape all that data. they've been developed over years. So you could process your browser's cache. You could do something that would harvest that data, Ryan. But doing that is much, much more challenging than doing the making a VM from Nix's blog post that you were saying. You could create that VM, and then in that VM, you could use a tool like Hunchly, or just do something else and just manually document. There's a lot of people out there, a lot of use cases where just using Hunchly doesn't matter, or you don't have access to it, or you're not allowed to install that software, and so you have to take care of things manually. Other thoughts?
Yeah, no, that's why we started, for some of the people that didn't have licenses, we started using single file and some of the other things to go through and download the entire page on that. It's just because you had a record then of, how the site was then. You could timestamp it, hash it if you needed to, and all that. So there was an exportable offline version of that stuff, whatever, which had everything. So it's really tough to go through and rebuild, Hunchly or Vortimo, right? It's years of work, and they put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it. So there's a lot of other tools you can get, but nothing that quite works like that off the shelf.
Cool. Thank you everybody for pitching in and for discussing that. And I think one of the things that we always learn in these discussions is there's no one way to do it. Like Inez said, if you have a wooden ladle at home and yet you're a blacksmith, I like the expression. It's just, I keep botching it when I say it. But I mean, the whole thing is that we teach one way, which is the theoretically optimal way. But there's a huge number of derivations depending upon the industry and the software you're allowed to use, your mission and time frame. So choose what's right for you and practice. I can't tell you the amount of time when I've had students in my capture the flags that are like, all right, hey, I just put all my stuff in this mind map. It's great. I love mind maps. I'm like, all right, cool. You need to combine your data with these 3 other people. How are you getting your data out? And they're like, I could export to an image, and but your mind map is this big, so it's hard. So practice with whatever tools that you're going to be using. A lot of them are out there and are free or have trials. So cool. All right, everybody. Well, this has been another hour of open source intelligence with us, the OSINT Curious project, or some of the members of OSINT Curious. On the screen down below is our website and other details. We are going to be back here tomorrow, or at least some of us are going to be back here tomorrow. And I promise tomorrow we're going to just spend time on that GeoGuessr. We're going to do the daily challenge again and get better than 184 meters, because that was pretty awesome.
That was pretty good.
Then we're going to do the country streak to see how long we can go. And we are going to continue going with your help until we do not have a country. So until our streak is broken. And we'll also talk about some other things, if we want to, we'll see where you want to bring the conversation, whether it's bringing it over into command line tools and Python, or whether you want to talk about websites or whatever. We can do it all tomorrow. I'd like to thank Inez Narciso for being on here. Thank you. And Michael James, Ginsburg 5150.
Thank you.
Bye
And
bye.
035 for being on here too. And thank you to our wonderful audience. Oh, Sector, go ahead. I talked over you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Everyone, we'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place.
Absolutely. Like Sector said, we're hoping to see you tomorrow, whether you're on YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter, Periscope. We'll be on at 2100 hours. And for those of you that are still around here, we are going to be doing a full week of live streaming in May, starting May 10th, going to May 14th, and it'll be at 1800 hours UTC. So a little bit earlier in the day than that. So stay tuned, watch our Twitter, watch our other things. You have a question there, Michael James?
I do. Jasmine put up a great point over. Click the bell for the notification on the YouTube. On Twitch, I don't know how that works. Is there a notification on Twitch when we go live and stuff?
Yes, on Twitch, on our channel on Twitch. If you're up there,
Okay.
We have our I'll schedule them to be scheduled, and in Twitch and YouTube, you'll see that they're scheduled and they're upcoming. Yep.
That's
and
awesome.
Thanks to DS. Yeah, if you follow us. So follow us, click on the channel, follow us, and on our information is down below. thank you for a wonderful hour. Thank you to our wonderful attendees, participants, for helping us to score better towards the end of GeoGuessr, and for making this a wonderful webcast live stream. I'm in the past. I'll get better by tomorrow, I swear. Thanks, everybody. And I guess there's just one last thing to tell everybody. Stay
Stay
OSINT.
curious.
There you go. Goodbye, Red.